when I get my VIP clients and when we start doing our one-on-ones, I find that they oftentimes either they'll have a business in their mind that they aren't sure about. They don't know if they want to do that, or they'll come with don't even have any type of business and try to figure out what type of business should they start. So on this bonus call, we're going to talk about how to find a six-figure business in you. So how many of you believe that when you were born with a gift, you were born with a purpose or something in that area? You can just comment. You don't have to unmute. You can just comment in the chat if you believe that you were born with a gift and a purpose. Even if you don't know what it is, you know that you were born with some type of gift and purpose. So I can go ahead and tell you, I believe that you were born with a purpose and a gift. So I'm going to tell you 3 ways that you can find out the business that's on the inside of you. So 1, so your gift is going to be the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. So it's going to be something that you do where you don't have to go and study for it. You don't have to go. If you're coming, I'll mute yourself for me. I'm going to let y'all unmute at the end. So it's something that you don't have to study for. It's something that, you know, you're just good at it. It just flows from you. So let's say it might be drawing. It might be making people laugh. It could be writing poetry. People could say that you organize stuff well. You might love to organize. So all of those things could actually be a business. So when my clients come to me saying that they don't know what type of business they should start, I oftentimes tell them to start with their gifts, things that comes easily. So the second way you can find out what business there is on the inside of you is by asking yourself, what is a common problem that I've already solved? So for example, me, when I first transitioned, sorry, y'all, I'm gonna mute you, okay? So when I first transitioned from being when I was still working as a nurse to becoming an entrepreneur, it was difficult for me to find out the information on how to create an LLC, how to build business credit, all this stuff. I felt like I had to look all over the place. I had to go on this website, go on that website. I just felt like it was so hard for me to find everything, like a step-by-step blueprint all in one area to where I can just follow and then boom, I have my business credit, have all those things. So because of that, I made mistakes. Because of that, it took me a while longer than it would have if I would have had like a step-by-step blueprint. So boom, that was a problem I solved. That's where I was able to form my business, Beginner Bosses Blueprint, because I used that. That was an area I struggled in. So I was like, boom, that's going to be what I'm going to start my business in. So to you guys, write down number 2 is, what is a common problem that I've already solved? And those who are coming in late, we're talking about how to find the 6-figure business that's on the inside of you. How to find the 6-figure business that's on the inside of you for those who are coming in late. Number 1 was, ask yourself, what is the thing I do the absolute best that takes the least amount of effort? Something that comes naturally. That's what you're asking yourself for number 1. Number 2 was, what is the common problem that I've solved? So for me, I said the problem that I solved was when I was transitioning from being a nurse to an entrepreneur. I struggled trying to register my LLC and building business credit because there was no place that I could go that had a specific blueprint. So that's where I came up with Beginner Bosses Blueprint. So what is something that you guys struggled with or that you've already found a solution to? That's what you need to be asking yourself for number 2, because 9 times out of 10, if you struggle with it, somebody else is struggling with it. And you've done it, you've solved that solution. You have that solution, so you'll be able to teach somebody else how to do it because you've done it. And then number 3, oftentimes the closest people to us know our gifts before we do. So number 3, you're going to ask yourself, what are the people around me always asking me to do for them? So for me, as an example, when I first started my business, everybody was asking me, hey, can you help me with my business credit? Hey, I'm about to establish a LLC. Could you register my LLC for me? I saw that you got your paydebt scores up to 80. Could you give me advice on what vendors should I order from to get my paydebt score up? Could you tell me who to apply for business credit? Could you tell me, oh, you have an Airbnb business. How did you start that? Can you tell me what type of apartment complex to go to? These things. So whatever. So that's what you're going to do. Number 3, ask yourself, what are the people around me asking me to do for them? So that's going to be a common thing that can kind of let you know it's not a coincidence that all these people are asking me to do the same thing. So let's say people always come to you for advice. That's a consultation. You're a consultant at this point. If you all the time comment, somebody's always asking you for advice on a specific subject, that's a consultation. They need to pay you. They shouldn't be getting free advice from you. So what if your friends always come to you because you know how to put outfits together very well. You know how to match colors together very well. That's a business. That's called a stylist. That's called, you can make an ebook telling people the type of colors that match together. Or you can tell people the type of body types, what type of outfits looks the best for them. All those types of things. So let's say you just bought a new home. You're a new home buyer. You might get people to come asking you about, how did you buy a new home? Like, what was the very first step? What was your credit score? What did it have to be? What were the data points? How did you get the money for the down payment? Do you know of any banks that will lend to people with, not so great credit? All of those things. People may ask you questions about your home buying process. That could be a business as well. You could put that into an ebook. You can establish a whole course off of that. I know some of us are nurses, travel nurses. People may want to know, how did you become a travel nurse? You could break it down for them step by step. Well, first, I got into these Facebook groups. Second, I made an account with the agencies. Third, I had to take competency tests. And then they may ask, well, how did you study for the competency test? How did you pass the test? Then you can prepare them, say, you're going to have an interview. They may want to know, what type of questions are they asking in these interviews? You see, so you could take that one little business idea and you can expand it into all of these things. So some of you, Stephanie, I think, has a home care agency. People may want to go into home care and establish a home care agency. They may need the blueprint. They may not know. Okay, first you start with this. Is there any government contracting? Is there any licenses I need? Any qualifications I need? Okay, how do I hire staff? How do I hire W-2? How do I pay people for W-2s? How do I do this? How do I do that? So that's a business also. Although you have a home care agency, you can have a whole other business where you're teaching people how to have home care agency. I know, Senna, you want to do trucking. That's the same thing. Like I said, how did you first start out? Day one, what do I need? What didn't work? Step 2, then step 3, then step 4. How do I find dispatchers? All of these things. So that's a business in itself. So I gave you guys 3 ways on how to find a business. Now that you know how to find your business, the thing you want to do is think about, how much is somebody willing to pay for this business? So the way that I would go about that, which is basically putting a price on your service or your product, because that's all your business is a service or a product. The way I think about that is I'll go and I'll research people in my genre, people who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I personally don't want to be the highest person, but I don't want to be the lowest person either. So find somewhere in the middle, charge whatever is in the middle. So I was listening to Steve Harvey today, and he was basically breaking down how to make any business into a 6-figure business. So I wanted to share that with y'all. So let's say you have a product or a service that's $10. And so y'all can write this down too. So let's say it's $10. So you either do something 10 times or you sell to 10 people. That's your first $100. Boom, that's simple. Finding 10 people is easy. Then whatever you did to make that first $100, you do that 10 more times. And that's how you make your $1,000. Then you're like, okay, so I got $1,000 off of this thing. Okay, so it might be working. That's how I was when I started selling my ebooks, my very first products and things like that. I was like, okay, my first $1,000. So then once you make the first $1,000, you do that 10 more times. And that's when you make your $10,000. So even if you have to grow, even if you have to hire a mentor, even if you have to hire staff, like I had to hire a VA, I couldn't send out all these emails. I couldn't send out all these messages. I couldn't do all these graphics. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff I'm just not good at. So even if I had to hire these people, I'm still going to be able to do that thing but I'm just going to do it 10 more times. So after I made my $10,000, I do that 10 more times and boom, that's my $100,000. That's my six figure. So I literally just broke down how to first find the business that's on the inside of you. And then second, how to scale it into a six-figure business. So that, if you take that blueprint, there's no reason why nobody on this call can't find a business. And also, these three things that I taught you how to find a business don't have to be the same thing. The thing that you do the easiest does not have to be the thing that people ask you for. The problem that you solve does not have to be a gift. You can have three businesses. You can have multiple businesses. So don't limit yourself to just thinking like, oh, I got to do something that I love. Like sometimes you just have to do what you can do until you can do what you love. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't always just fall all in place.